Hey all, so I'm going to be talking through the 9 simple steps to take to launch your coaching business from scratch. And there'll be no marketing funnels, no ads, no Facebook groups, no technical knowledge required. These are 9 simple steps that anyone can follow. And if you follow, you will get to those 10K months. These are the exact steps that I would follow if I was starting from scratch. So get your notepad and pens ready. I'm about to drop some serious value bombs. But before I get started, I'd love to introduce myself. My name is Burgess. I am a coach of coaches. I help struggling and new coaches go from 0 to 10K months. And the coaches that are at 10K months scale way beyond that. I've been there, I've done it. I've built a successful coaching business, coaching executives, high performers, but I've realized I love working with coaches, mainly because the ripple effect for me is 10x. So let's get started. Now, I understand there is so much noise out there currently, and it can be so easy to feel overwhelmed and confused. You know, some people say you've got to do Facebook groups. Some people say you've got to build a funnel. Some people say you've got to do ads, low ticket offers, webinars, challenges, ebooks. The options are endless. And here's the thing, guys. They all work. You probably wasn't expecting me to say that, but they all work. But it is not what you need right now if you're starting from scratch. And I can say that because I made that mistake. That was me. I was the person who saw the ad and I tried this and I saw another ad, I tried that, and it jumped from thing to thing to thing. And I was super distracted. And I was creating a few results, but I wasn't creating any profit. I was making revenue, but my capex, my costs were just as high, because that's the thing to know about funnels, ads. It requires investment, because that is what marketing is. It's about traffic. It's about how much can you learn? How much traffic can you send through funnels and A/B test, and how quickly can you learn? But it requires a lot of investment up front. I would say at least 10K, 20K to really get started and test your messaging and test out all that sort of stuff, which is probably what you don't have right now if you're just starting out. So if you're just starting out, what you need is a simple strategy that gets you in conversations, because that is the one thing you need to be in right now, is in conversations. And the strategies, the steps that I'm about to share with you are just that. Super simple and require very little technical know-how and very little investment. So what I want for you to get from this video is a super simple strategy that you can take and action tomorrow without any investment. But before I get started, I want to talk about the major mistakes that I see most new coaches make. Number one, and I see this all the time, is obsessing over your niche. Now, yes, having a niche helps. It helps with your messaging, it helps with your marketing, it helps with your delivery. It absolutely does help. But if you're just starting out, it is not a requirement. I did not start with a niche. I coached anyone and everybody. And in that process, I realized who I liked working with, who I could get the best results for, and who resonated with me. And when I started out, that was high-performing men. And that's who I started to feel drawn to. So that became my niche. But it was through the process of getting out there and coaching that I found my niche. I truly believe that clarity reveals itself in momentum. Clarity doesn't reveal itself in PDFs and writing and journaling and researching and, you know, being stuck and stagnant for days and days and days. Because what I've seen is the more time you spend on this, the more it can feel overwhelming, the more you can feel stuck, you know, totally obsessing about niche. So my recommendation is just get out there and coach. And the steps that I'm going to be talking through will be centered around exactly that. The second mistake I see all new coaches make is obsessing and focusing on the wrong things, like branding, logos, websites, funnels, all that stuff. And yes, we need that eventually, but not right now. It's not going to make the difference. How your business card is designed is not going to make a difference on your business. I hate to say it, but the truth is, all that stuff feels good, right? It feels like you're being productive. It feels like it's moving you forward, but all that action, all that stuff is just resistance, is fear in fancy dress. It feels good to work on your branding, to work on your website. It feels like you're making progress, but again, it's keeping you from doing the one thing that you need to be doing right now, is coaching out there, serving people and in conversations. So if that is you, hiding behind the branding, hiding behind the websites, the business cards, all that stuff, just notice you're procrastinating. You are resisting the one thing that you need to be doing out there, starting conversations and coaching. The third mistake that I see all new coaches make is forgetting about all their previous experience. Now, I can say this because this was me. It was like as soon as I qualified as a coach, I had amnesia. I forgot all about my previous experience. I forgot about building a 7-figure food tech business. I forgot about traveling the world, building an investment business in Indonesia whilst I was the only English speaker there. I forgot about all my previous experience. I also forgot about all the contacts. I forgot about all the people that I've met and influenced and trusted me. And I was like, right, I've got to go and find a new audience, and completely forgot about those people that already know, like, and trust me. And I also forgot about all my previous experience. And I just focused on what I didn't know, who I wasn't. And I compared myself with the people who were miles ahead of me, which really impacted my self-belief. And I started to question everything. But working with a coach helped me see and remember who I am. They helped me remember my past experience, the trials, the tribulations, the challenges, the ups, the fact that I built a 7-figure business, raised £1 million with just an idea. It helped me remember all of this stuff. They also helped me remember and realize all the things that I find easy, which others don't. Things like waking up at 5 a.m. every day, exercising, deep work, focus, meditation, mindset, the positive outlook, manifestation, all these things that came easy to me, that don't come easy to others. My coach helped me realize that, but I see it time and time and time again with all new coaches, forgetting about their previous experience and not looking at the obvious stuff, not looking at the things they're really, really strong at already, and just focusing on all the skills they don't have. So they go out and buy all the books and learn and try and do all the qualifications and forget about what's right in front of them. See it time and time again. The fourth mistake I see new coaches make is not asking for help. There's something that happens with new coaches where they have this belief that they need to prove something. They need to prove something to themselves or past colleagues or family members. They need to prove that I can do this on my own. But again, this is just resistance. It's just fear, and it's going to keep you small. It's easy to focus on the how, but if you focus on the how, you're only going to come up with things that you know how to do or what to do. When you ask the who first, you speed up your results rapidly. So those are the 4 mistakes that I see time and time again with new coaches. So let's get stuck into the 9 steps to launching your coaching business. Number 1, go get testimonials. Now, I assume that you have some element of experience of coaching. If not, go get that experience. Go coach for free and say and ask, do you want a free session? And in return, all I need is a testimonial, because the market right now is skeptical. There's a lot of skepticism out there. And sadly, the barriers to entry to becoming a coach are very, very low, which means there are some bad coaches out there. There are some bad coaches out there ruining the name of coaching. So the reputation for coaching is sadly quite low. So there's a lot of skepticism. The way to battle skepticism is with social proof. And social proof is a really key way to create influence and to build trust in your services. So if you don't have any testimonials, go out there and get as many testimonials as you can. Go and coach for free for a start. All you ask for is a testimonial in return. And if you're struggling to get testimonials, then perhaps you need to look at your craft of coaching. You need to perhaps do more training. But if you're a good coach, you're going to have some exceptional testimonials. So that is my first step, is just go and get testimonials. Testimonials are super powerful when you're first starting out as a coach. The second step is build a high fee transformational program. If you are thinking, well, coaching, how can you build a program with coaching? Coaching is in the magic of the moment. How can you predetermine what you're going to be talking about? And I totally get it. I remember having that same thought. And coaching is in the magic of the moment. Coaching isn't pre-planned, but this is all about creating perceived value. It's about creating a transformational program for your clients, because your clients will not be paying for the hour or two they have with you. They're paying for a transformation. Now, I see it all the time. New coaches charging per hour. And when you charge per hour, you're competing on a sort of commoditized basis. If you're charging per hour, people will say, well, this person's £500 an hour and this person's £100 an hour. I'll go with £100 an hour. Whereas when you create a transformational program that takes someone from point A to point B, and it clearly shows the route that how you're going to get there, and it clearly shows how you're going to solve all their problems, that becomes far more valuable in your potential client's eyes, rather than just having an hour with you. So flip your mindset from you are being paid per hour, flip your mindset from that to you are creating a transformational program. You're taking someone from point A to point B, and you are the bridge between that. That is what they're paying for. They're not paying for the hour with you. They're paying for that transformation. They're also paying for all your previous year's experience. They're paying for the moments between sessions. They're paying for the times that you send them voice notes, send them WhatsApp, send them podcast recommendations, cheer them on. They're paying for that one insight that will completely transform the rest of their lives. So we need to break the mold, break the mindset of your being paid per hour, take away that thought of and working out, oh, that makes it, wow, £1,000 an hour, that's too much. They're not paying for the hour, they're paying for the transformation. And with this transformational program, I would, using the words of Alex Hormozy, create an offer they would be stupid saying no to. How I do this is I get paid the majority of my fee on performance. So I put some of my skin in the game because that's how much I believe in my service. And it means that my potential client is like, well, this would be stupid to say no, because what I pay you is dependent on my results, and you're going to help me get those results. Now, if you're not confident on being paid on performance, that's where the problem lies, because you clearly don't back your offering, your product. So if that is the case, go and hone your craft, go and hone your skills, go and solve a problem and get really, really confident that you can solve that problem for someone. The more obvious it is to say yes to your offer, the less objections there will be, the less selling you'll have to do. And actually, it will be a complete power shift. Because I get paid on performance, I'm actually interviewing my clients. Do I believe in my clients? Do I believe they'll go all in? Do I believe this person's committed? Do I even want to work with this person? And once your client feels that power, they will be almost begging to work with you. It's a total power shift, but it comes from creating an offer that it would be stupid to say no to, and you have skin in the game. When you create a high fee transformational program like that, it'll be super easy to sell. The third step is tell everybody. I would build a list of 50 to 100, thinking about the people that you used to work with, past colleagues, friends, family, people that you met at networking events, people that you met on holiday. Go through your LinkedIn list, go through your contacts on your phone, go through your Instagram followers, go through your Twitter followers, go through absolutely everybody you know, and build a list of at least 50 to 100. And then start conversations with those people, reach out, ask how they are, and enter every conversation giving value. That might be liking or commenting on a post. That might be giving them a recommendation on LinkedIn. That might be sending them a podcast. That might be making an introduction, but enter every relationship giving value. And then once they ask, how are you? What are you doing? Tell them with passion and enthusiasm. Like, yes, I'm a coach. I help struggling entrepreneurs build the mindset and systems to not only thrive in life, but to thrive in their business. Actually, I've got a program coming up. Do you know anyone who might be a fit? And if they are a struggling entrepreneur who is super overwhelmed and burnt out, they might be like, yeah, that's me. And at which point you can invite them in for that enrollment call. So tell everyone, build that list and start conversations. Now, imagine where your business would be in 6 months' time if you connected with at least 10 to 20 people every day. It's a no-brainer. At the start, you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to get rejected. People are not going to reply to you. But over time, you're going to start to form better ways of connecting, better ways of starting conversations. You're going to find your way. You're going to find a way that feels authentic to you. And in that process, you'll learn a ton, and you'll start to realize what works for you. And you'll start those conversations, and it'll start to feel more natural, and people will start to reply, and you'll know exactly what to say when. And eventually there'll be a point where you can then invite them for an enrollment call. What I like to do is sexify that enrollment call, make it a little bit sexier than enrollment call, something like a habit audit or a business strategy call, or something that feels a little sexier than an enrollment call. Side note. So tell everyone, start conversations, be in conversations. Imagine where you could be 6 months from now if you spoke to 10 to 20 people every day. And if you don't know that many people, get out there, get out from outside, go to events, go to the gym, start conversations in cafes. There are people everywhere that need help, that need your help. And if you have that belief, you'll start to see that. Now, step 4, build a content conversation engine. Now, this is at the heart of how I got to multiple 10 figures a month. This is essentially how to create conversations from your content, because ultimately we can create clients from 2 places: people we know, which is the step before, and people we don't know. And what content does, it gets people that we don't know into our world and helps them know, like, and trust us. That's what content does. But the purpose of content at this stage is to create opportunities for conversation. So you have content that creates opportunities for conversation, and the conversations feeds your content. And that's why it's called an engine, because it feeds itself. So this is the 4th step that is absolutely vital in building and launching your coaching business and getting to those 10K months. Now, if you want help building this content conversation engine, there's a link below where you can book a free 45-minute business strategy session with me, and we'll go and audit what is working for you right now, what's not, and we'll help you build this content conversation engine. This is at the heart of my last business and my new business, and it is an absolute engine that just propels your business forward. Step 5, turn pro. Now, this concept is taken from Stephen Pressfield, the author of The War of Art, one of my favorite books. Now, there's a point in your coaching career that you'll need to make a decision to go from amateur to a pro. The difference between an amateur and a pro is an amateur will turn up when they feel like it, whereas a pro will turn up regardless of how they feel. They'll rely on their commitments to their future self, commitments to the impact and contribution they want to have. They will turn up regardless. And there are 4 habits that a professional coach needs to craft in these early stages. 4 habits that if you turn pro with, your business will be in a dramatically different place 6 months from now. Now, the first habit of a professional coach is what I call the 1 hour coach. And this is how I built my multiple 6-figure business. It was just 1 hour a day. And I still do it now. For 1 hour a day, all I do is start conversations on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or whatever channel that you're using. But 1 hour a day of just starting conversations. That is a number that you should be tracking, because that's, again, what pros do. They track the relevant numbers. The number of conversations, the number of connections you're making every single day are the numbers that you need to be tracking as a professional coach. And you are now a professional coach. The second habit that you need to turn pro with is creating content. Now, we don't need to get too complicated at this phase. We just need to be creating content. This is about building the habit of turning up and creating content, regardless of how you feel. Because I remember that feeling vividly when I first started out. All the self-doubt, all the questioning, the procrastination, the confusion, the overwhelm, the distraction. But I just focused on the process, focused on committing to turning up, regardless of how I felt, regardless of the inspiration or how motivated I was, and just created content. That is what professional coaches do. They, number 1, are in those conversations, and number 2, they're creating content every single day. The content you need to be creating at this stage is, how-tos, belief busters, case studies, telling your story, telling people who you are, telling people about your product, turning up authentically, vulnerably, and telling your transformational story. So that is the second habit of a professional coach. The third habit of a professional coach is they have rituals and routines to get them into a high vibrational state. This is crucial. Because when we're first starting out, we're going to get a lot of rejection. We're going to get a lot of no's likely. And there's going to be moments where we're just going to doubt ourselves, where we're going to question things. So we need to build the routines that get us into a high vibrational state. We need to act in anticipation of the inspiration rather than waiting for the inspiration. That is what pros do. Pros often don't want to work out. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to reach out and connect with people. They don't want to X, Y, Z, but they trust in the routines before that brings the inspiration into those moments. So every morning, regardless of how I feel, I go through my routines, I go through my rituals that bring out the best in me and that bring me into a high vibrational state, which then allows me to attract the things that I want from that level rather than acting from your current level. Fourth habit is talk like a pro. Tell people you're a professional coach. You are now a professional coach. You are now an entrepreneur. Even though if you're just starting out, you may not have paying clients, but you've got to treat yourself like one. You've got to talk to yourself like one. Words matter. Words have power. So we need to embody a professional coach and talk like a professional coach. So that is the fifth step, turn pro. This may be turning pro before you're even being paid, but that is a big part of this process. The sixth step is honor the suck. Now, a big reason why I see a lot of coaches or new coaches stagnant and stuck is they fear looking small. Perhaps they've come from a high-powered corporate job, or perhaps they've had a previous business where they had some previous success, but they enter this field of coaching where they're brand new. And there's a lot of fear of looking small in front of past colleagues, friends. I remember that feeling vividly myself. But we've got to honor the suck. We've got to realize at first, we're going to get 1-2 likes on our posts. We're going to get 1 email subscriber. We're not going to have a client for a few weeks. Our content's going to suck. Our videos are going to suck. Our writing's going to suck. We're even going to suck at coaching at some point. But the only way to get better at all these things is just to honor the suck, to turn up regardless of how we feel and take action. And in that action, in those failures, we're going to improve. We're going to hone our craft. We're going to master our craft. It is the only way. Honoring the suck. You're going to honor the suck. And after a while, you're going to suck so little that you're actually going to get quite good. I remember when I first launched my newsletter, I was awful at writing. I've always been a maths and physics kind of guy, an engineer by background. Languages have never come easy to me, nor has writing. But I turned pro as a writer. I turned up, launched my newsletter, and every week, regardless of how I felt, I wrote. My first newsletters are so bad, like my first videos. And hey, me on this video is going to improve at some point. I'm kind of sucking right now, but we've just got to turn up, honor that suck. After time, we're going to improve. We're going to get better and better and better. At some point, we're going to get pretty good. And at some point, we're going to become world-class. But we've got to honor that suck, stay in the game, and stay patient. Now, the seventh step, the clients that you do acquire is all about over-delivering, going the extra mile. This is about doing things that aren't scalable. This is about going the extra mile for your client. And going the extra mile for your clients will be a massive point of difference. And it'll be something that the biggest companies, the biggest coaches won't be able to do because they can't scale themselves. But when you're just starting out, you have a lot of time. So go the extra mile. For example, with my business coaching business, I go the extra mile for all my clients. I personally write out their LinkedIn profile. I go through all their Instagram posts. I comment on their videos. I go the extra mile. Now, of course, this stuff isn't scalable, but in this process, that will become a massive point of difference for me. But I'll also realize what my clients value the most. And then after time, I'll realize and work out, how can I scale these? How can I scale it with tech, or how can I scale it with people? And I'll also realize what is most valuable for them. It's how Airbnb scaled so quickly. Or how Airbnb built their business, because they did things that weren't scalable to start off with. And then they realized, what are the things that are valued or highly valued? We need to do the same in our coaching business as we first start out. Do the things that aren't scalable, over deliver, go the extra mile. The eighth big idea, a really simple one, is get a coach. Now, a coach without a coach is like a doctor who refuses to go to the doctor, or a PT that's overweight and doesn't exercise. How can we ask our clients to sign up with us if we don't believe in coaching enough to have a coach ourselves. It is that simple. We all need a coach. And the reality is, when we're first starting out, it's going to be hard. As I said, we need to honor that suck. We're going to get rejected. We're going to have moments of self-doubt. We're going to feel confused. We're going to feel overwhelmed, stagnant, stuck. We're going to be procrastinating. And that is why it's so crucial to have a coach, to hold up that mirror, to challenge us, to support us, to believe in us, to point us in the right direction, to show us the way when we're confused. Absolutely, we need a coach. It is very, I would say it's out of integrity, out of congruence with coaching if you don't have a coach and you're asking coaches to clients to sign up with you. Now, the ninth and last idea is centered around a concept called be, do, have. Ask yourself, how would you be if you already had the coaching business that you want? If you already had the success you would want? How would you be? Would you be more relaxed? Would you be more calm? Would you be more confident, happier? And what were the actions you would take if you already had the success you want? What would you do? How would your week look like? Ask yourself, what would be your perfect day? What would be your perfect week? Now, we need to embody that person now, because by embodying that person now means that we're vibrating at the frequency of someone who already has the success that we want. And if we're vibrating at that frequency, we will attract things that are also at that frequency. We will attract the money, and the abundance that are already at that frequency, rather than coming from the place of where we are currently. We need to embody someone who already has what we want and take the actions of someone who already has where we're at. And there's an element of trust there, trusting and staying in the game. So those are my 9 steps to launching your coaching business from scratch and getting to those 10K months without the funnels, without the ads, the Facebook groups. 9 simple steps that absolutely any coach can follow. And I promise you, if you take these 9 steps, you will get to those 10K months. Now, if you want an audit of your business strategy, click the link below where you can book a 45-minute free business strategy session with myself. We'll dive into your business as it stands and build out that strategy together. I hope to see you there soon. That's it for now. I love you. It's now time to leave you, and I'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao.